Let me get the participant list up so I can make sure I acknowledge everybody. All right, Zoma and Ozzy and Reb Wayne and Dove and Regis and Ricky, all welcome to our review or study or discussion of the children's edition of A Course in Miracles. And I'm just so grateful that we have this lovely edition to go through. And here comes Ozzy back again. Uh, so welcome, welcome. I'm going to go ahead and put on the screen. We're in the Miracle Principles. And I think we were going to start on Miracle Principle 10 last week. I'm not too sure, but we can. I think we did Miracle Principle 10. Um, and maybe we're on to Miracle Principle 11. So I think that's it. So who would like to read Miracle Principle number 11?
Lynn, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Which sounded better? Did it sound better before or now?
Uh, they, they both sound good. I don't know.
Okay,
No.
good. Okay, perfect. Now, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd love to read number 11.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Uh, Prayer is like talking to a friend. Imagine you have a friend who lives far away, but you can talk to them on the phone anytime you want. That's a bit like prayer. It's like talking to a really, really good friend who loves you a lot. And when you pray, it's like sharing that love with your friend. Miracles are the way that love shows up in the world when we talk to our special friend. That's so gorgeous. I remember when I was younger, and I talked about this, I think, with the Mailbox Club, and that I was called a Bible thumper. But I mean, I always talk to Jesus or God or whatever. I don't even know if I called it anything. It was just always a conversation in my brain. I always had two talking things back and forth, like I always did. So I love that because now it's just, as I was walking up the stairs coming up here, I was like, I want to teach children about A Course in Miracles because it's just so important. If you just had known like a few little seeds, it's so much easier to have that because there's so much else to battle against that, with the ancestry or whatever the story is of how much and the time, and we got to undo it and da 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 da. And it's like, well, geez, how do you do that? Well, you got to start changing this programming. And that's going to have to start with the children. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for that, Oddsy. And you're absolutely right. And, I listen, a lot of people say, oh, this Course of Miracles, you shouldn't be teaching it to children. It's too out there. There's too many, crazy thoughts. Oh, so yeah, so let us teach our children that we were made by a God who made us out of balls of clay, made a man, and then took a man's rib and made it into a woman, and then told them you can't eat this fruit. If you eat this fruit, you'll die. Then they eat the fruit, and then he kicks them out of paradise, and they have to go. Angels are with them, and they go through all the things they go through. Lots of generations of people come up. God gets mad, says, "Oh, I don't like these people. These people are just too troublesome. So you, Noah, my dear one who loves me, take your family, build an ark, take all the animals, and I'm going to kill everybody else on earth." We tell our children that this is how God is. God is, he gets pissed off real easy and does some pretty wicked things when he does. and the final words of the Bible are all about, then he just decided we were hopeless, and so he sent his only begotten son, who he loved so much, to suffer and be tortured and to die, so that, we would be pardoned for all the terrible sins that we've done. And like how this is ridiculous stuff. And we teach it to our children, and our children are like, oh, people were so mean to Jesus, and why did we make God kill everybody? And that's crazy. The Course in Miracles is far more civilized than that, and a far sweeter story to be telling to your children. Here's God, he's your love. Sorry about that. Now it's starting the kicking me out thing again. Uh, I may not be able to talk at the same time here, but anyway, that's my story. That's my thought. It's just ridiculous that that people don't think that A Course in Miracles is suitable for kids. This is a much kinder, much more loving teaching uh, than what the Bible teaches us, and a much I want kids to know this. God loves you. Anybody else have any thoughts?
That's incredible. What you just said. It's funny you say that because yesterday I was thinking about the Bible, and I picked it up and started reading it for myself back in 1985, and I'm glad that I wasn't being taught the Bible by some church or what have you. I'm glad that wasn't the case. And I remember talking in here the other day about take what you need and leave the rest. I remember says, "Oh yeah, I like a lot of the stuff in the Psalms. I like a lot of stuff in the Proverbs. I like a lot of the stuff that's written that Jesus said. I like some of that stuff, but I'll leave the murders and the rapes and all that. I can leave that over there. I mean, how can you tell me that that it's the same God that's condoning rape and condoning chopping women up, just chopping them up, a husband chopping his wife up because anyway, um you're absolutely right. It's a tremendous it, I have a client who is traumatized. She's traumatized, and she came up in the traditional fundamental Christian church. She's traumatized. Her concept of God is it's so scary. It is so scary. So you better know I have my work cut out for me there. And I give thanks that she trusts me. She trusts me, and I'm constantly giving her quotes from the course, constantly. And I put A Course in Miracles, texting her Course in Miracles, and not just the course, but very seldom is it the Bible, and when it is, it has to be something that corresponds directly to the course. And then
Thank
you're
you.
having
Thank you,
oh,
Zuma. Yeah,
yes.
Lynn, I think Lynn just got knocked out again, but so I'm gonna start sharing because I figured out how to
Yay, please
screen
do.
share. I know this is really big right now, but
Oh, it's much better.
is it okay this
I
big?
like it. Yeah, I like it better.
Okay, if it's okay this size, I just took over there, Lenny.
Thank you so much, Ozzy. I,
Welcome.
I love you. You're so helpful to me. All right, I'm going to mute my mic then, and let's see if somebody has anything else to say about prayer.
In the Science of Mind, it says that the answer to prayer is in the prayer itself, um, which makes sense to me because oftentimes when whatever it is that we're thinking about, that we're praying about, um, it involves whatever, we're praying about whatever it is that we um, want to experience in our lives. The answer is already there. We know from Workbook Lesson 80 that the problem is already solved. And in religious science, You're always praying affirmatively. You're not asking for anything. You are just basically reminding yourself that being and having are the same. That I don't have to ask for stuff. It's already here. It's already here. I'm complete.
Yeah, thank you for that, Zilma. And prayer, teaching children about prayer. Of course, I grew up in prayer. I prayed all the time. Prayed every night, prayed every day, said my own rosaries, said all those things. Pray, pray, pray all the time. Uh, when did I ever have a conversation with God? Uh, not when I was begging Mary to, ask her son to do something for me, or, begging God to do something for me, or not to do something, or whatever. When did I ever have a conversation with God? And, but I did have conversations with God all the time. They were just I never saw that as prayer. I never thought of it as prayer. I always just thought of it as this is how you talk to your friend. So, that the prayers that the church taught me were just a lot of rote memorized things to say over and over and over. Uh, and I never really saw any good results. Oddsy, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Lynn. I'm just laughing. Yeah, it was like say your Hail Marys and then our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. Like not even thinking of the words. It was just ridiculous. How ridiculous, just sitting there and honestly, sometimes in church though they would do a song that I really liked and I would get into it. And I just want to say that I love redefining prayer as just talking to a friend rather than praying for something because we don't need anything, right? We know that. And I'm sorry, I had to get the birds out because I've been in the basement. So I'll pass the mic because I don't want it to be annoying for everybody. But just love the redefinition of prayer.
Can't hear the birds, by the way.
Yeah, I wasn't hearing the birds at all.
Oh, good. That's great. Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, to just follow up with that, it's yeah, because you're talking to a friend who loves you a lot. That's like when you pray, you're just sharing love with a friend. You're sharing, you're giving and receiving, you're having that conversation, building that trust. Who walks with me, knowing that love is there? You're never alone. And tapping in, having kids to tap into that intuition. Kids are smart. If you teach them this from the young age, they still have that seeing. Now, maybe no, I hear you. All right. So thank you guys so much. I love it.
Really briefly, talking about in Catholicism, I remember the act of contrition. The words start, oh my God, I am heartily, Heartily, I am heartily sorry for having offended thee. And we would say, oh my God, I'm heartily sorry. I am heartily sorry for having offended thee.
Oh my gosh, yes, and the thought of offending God. What a terrible thing. I would spend my whole life offending everybody, and God included. My goodness. And but boy, we could zip through those prayers in a heartbeat. And it's always the very funny thing when you're in there in the confessional. And I lived in a small town, so of course the priest knew every single person who was coming in there and would call me by name. And of course my first real name is Margaret. So I always knew when Father would say, Margaret, you know. Oh my goodness. That may be why I changed to my middle name. Anyway, anybody else have any thoughts about prayer? and our conversation with our friend.
I like that. I like that.
All right. Well, let's take a look at number 12. Is there, I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. Whoa, whoa. That's even better. All right. Who would like to read number 12?
I'll read.
Thank you.
Miracles are like super thoughts. You know how when you have a great idea, it feels like a light bulb goes off in your head? Well, miracles are like those special ideas, but even more magical. They're like thoughts that make the world a better and kinder place. I love that. I absolutely love that. Where's my actual textbook? What's the? I'm curious as to what the uh, actual miracle principle states. Number 12. Oh, miracles are thoughts. Thoughts can represent the lower or bodily level of experience or the higher or spiritual level of experience. One makes the physical and the other create the spiritual. Um, but I like this. They're like super thoughts. I love that. I absolutely love that. Um, and that's always it. You know, we're always as we were talking about earlier, you know, it's all about being in the mind of God. So we're constantly getting thoughts, we're constantly getting ideas, we're constantly getting gaining ways to quote improve, to see things differently. You know, it's I love that. I love that. Just ways to extend rather than call for love. We're always getting those moments, those thoughts, those ideas, those super thoughts. So complete.
Thank you, Zoma. And I love that, he brings it back to the whole purpose of the thoughts is to make the world a better and kinder place, which, people will tell you, oh, the Course of Miracles isn't all about that, but it really is, because when we change our thoughts, the world is changed along with it. And so teaching a child that it's their perspective, it's the way that they see things, uh, that that define them for them. And it's just so easy, when you're training up a child, when you see, I don't know, you find out that somebody, I don't know, cheated on their taxes or something is, the kids at home listening, the parents are talking, and they're saying, oh, that man is a crook, and they did this and they did that, and they need to go to prison, whatever. And then the kid is listening to that talk and then recognizing, oh, you know what, but I noticed that my dad lied to me about something or the other, which we do as parents all the time. Don't imagine we don't. And we tell our kids certain things because we don't want them to know, we don't want to traumatize them, or we want them to believe a certain thing or whatever. But when the kid hears that, the kid says, oh, it's okay for me to judge other people. So now I'm listening to my parents and I'm judging their thoughts, and I'm listening to other people and I'm judging their thoughts. And everywhere I'm looking, I see people are just cheaters and liars. Well, this world's a terrible place, full of cheaters and liars. And I mean, that's the kind of thought we put into our children's minds when we as parents are looking out and making judgments about people we see on television, characters in movies, our neighbors, our family. I mean, we're the reason that the world is so sad, is because we're letting our children think that you it's okay to look at our brothers and judge them, and to see fault in them, and to blame them for whatever we're blaming them for. It's, I'm probably talking around it too much, but I think this is really good. First off, as parents, as adults who are around children, to be integrous with our word, and to recognize when we're saying hurtful things or thinking hurtful ways about people, because what the parent, it's impressed on the children. I came up with some crazy ideas about people because of what my parents thought. And it took a lot of unlearning for me to recognize, how, that just because they were my parents, they were definitely clearly not, uh, you know, uh, uh, in reality about what was happening in the world. But anyway, it's a beautiful thing to teach children that to think in a way that makes the world a kinder and better place. I'm complete with that. Anybody else have any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just popping in then. I just love that. Thank you guys. I've heard that too. Because when I first started this, my child was probably 8 years old, like a bit younger, and I really wanted to introduce it, but my prayer partner at the time was like, "Oh no, it's not for kids," and I was like, "Really?" And she's like, "No, you can't. Imagine that would be fearful, But I still was kind of doing it a little bit, and I inadvertently kind of turned off my child because he said, quit saying that. Like, why are you saying the world isn't real? Like, it's just." And I realized, like, I can't force something. I was trying to do something myself rather than look at how beautiful this has unfolded. Now there's a text. I mean, for me, this is proof that I do create my own world, because I'm like, I want to teach this to children. Well, there's a book now. Ha, ha. Hey, I'm not saying, oh, I did this or whatever. I'm just saying this is a beautiful dream for me because it's showing up perfectly. And of course, we're not going to read the actual course to a child, just like you're not going to read like the medical dictionary. You might have a children's kind of version about the body, or these are the seeds, the pre-seeds, just to lay them down, the foundation to again teach, to go within and to know that the thoughts aren't the truth about who you are. That has to be established early, I think, because that for me was the biggest thing. I look back, I had so many thoughts and negative thoughts, and I just started to believe that was the truth. But if I had known thoughts, are super thoughts, and the prayer, or whatever else is going to come up, however else it's going to come up, I just feel like maybe I might have still done the same things and all that, but that's where I'm thinking the truly helpful bit is for me. How early can I plant a seed for people? Thank you.
Thank you for that, Ozzy. And yes, I mean, it really is a way of looking at, how can we teach our children about what's real when we're thinking that when we're not even knowing ourselves. And that's the problem is you know, I have to recognize that what for myself that the world is not real before I ever can start telling my child the world is not real. But if I can understand ways in which it's not, and understand ways in which I am creating my own reality. And so, how am I creating my own reality? I'm creating my own reality because whatever I look at, I can look at something and say, that's a beautiful, red shirt you're wearing. And you could be saying, well, no, it's actually orange or maroon or some other color. My reality is that it's red. Your reality is that it's something else. What color is it really? well, neither one of us, I mean, you can't objectively define red. I mean, you could probably scientifically come up with it at this point, this is what is red, and then all these others are, some variation of red or whatever. But but uh yeah. You missed the beautiful thing by arguing about the color. And Dove says he's legally colorblind. So you can't even agree on what color red is. And so, that's a way to start by telling them, what you see with your eyes and what I see with my eyes, what you think with your thoughts, what I think with my thoughts, they're making a completely different picture of what I am wearing than what I think or I see. And you may look at people in the world, teachers, call the kid could come home from school and say, "Oh, my teacher is so mean. I just hate my teacher. Can't you get me a different teacher? My teacher is just, being so mean to me." And then you start talking to him, what is the teacher doing that's so mean? Well, they're trying to teach me this math stuff, and I don't understand it, and it doesn't make any sense, and they're just trying to hurt me. And for me to look at the kid and say, well, I don't think the teacher's trying to hurt you. You may be seeing it that way because you're having a hard time with the teacher, but the teacher's really trying to help you by teaching you something that you're going to need to know later on. And, by thinking that the teacher is mean, you're going to start thinking that they're trying to hurt you, and that's just not so. That's the opposite way to look at, what's happening here. Now, let's figure out what your math problem is. This is my grandson who's having trouble with math. Let's figure out what your math problem is, because, that's the trouble. It's not because the teacher's trying to be mean, the teacher's trying to be helpful. You're seeing it as being not helpful. And you may come home and say, "Oh, my teacher told me I was stupid, and I'm going to get mad at the teacher. Oh my gosh, why are you telling my child they're stupid?" The teacher will say, "I didn't tell your child he was stupid. I was telling him he's failing math," which in his mind is telling him he's stupid. In my mind, it is an attack on the kid. But when I hear the real story, I realize that it's something completely different. So this is why talking to kids about their thoughts at this point in their life, at the point in their life when they're subject to truly believing that their thoughts are the only reality, and even telling them that even my thoughts are not the only reality. I don't even know. Nobody really knows. We all just have some consensus about what's real. Uh, but the world is full of war because people have varying ideas about what truth is or what reality is, and they can't see past their worldview. So teaching a child at an early age that their thoughts are making their world is, I think, a tremendous kindness. I think that that is real love. I mean, we taught this is, maybe I'm saying this because this is how we taught our children. We taught our children, nobody can make you feel bad. You're the only one who can make you feel bad. People can say things to you, they can do things to you, but they can't make you think or feel anything that you don't want to think or feel. And so my kids have grown up their whole lives thinking, if something goes wrong, I'm responsible for what I think about it. And it's not pleasant, and I don't like it, and I really like to blame other people for my problems, but I can't because I'm the one who's defining what's happening as a problem. So, I mean, kids can learn that, people can learn that. And these super thoughts, these miracles are the results of our decision to think in a different way, and teaching a child that is the perfect thing. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to share about this?
Only that I like the way this is written, number 12, because in the actual course, it gives you the contrast. It gives you the difference of lower, lower bodily thoughts, and the creating this and the making that, whereas this is strictly the creation part of it. And I like that. The way this is written. It's just the
Yeah,
creation, not the
yeah.
yeah.
No, yeah, because that's a little much for kids to understand lower and higher bodily thoughts and all that kind of stuff. But this, I think they can understand very clearly. So thank you, Zoma. Does anybody else want to say anything or want to read number 13?
Yeah. Yeah, Lynn, I just think that you guys are bang on there because it's like it is something so important to teach kids. I mean, I have a little great niece. I have a few great nieces and nephews. And I can just see because the parents have split. And it's just so sad when there's the conflict and between the parents, and there's still hard feelings and they can't communicate properly. And I'm just like, oh boy, I just see this little girl and her head, and I'm just like, oh, wish I could read her A Course in Miracles every day. I just feel like this aching in me, and I agree. That is a great kindness to say to my child, even I don't know, because we grew up, or we raised our child here to both our kids, like with regards to religion. I showed them a lot of different religions and whatever, and dad would say, he's a science, he believes Big Bang, and I would talk about whatever different things were going on for me at the time, but basically saying we didn't know what we believed for that. And I love that because it's like our kids are just free to I mean, believe what they want. And I mean, I love a home that you grow up and you have your traditional things too. I mean, there's no right or wrong in it. Again, it's just that intention. And if it's about love being, not, and the non-judgment, then it's all kosher. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Audzi. Yeah. Yeah, that's really it. I didn't raise my kids with any specific religion either because none of it was, I thought it was all a bunch of BS. I mean, I taught them about things. Yes, they understood. They knew what Christianity was. We sang and danced around the house, Jesus Christ Superstar. I don't know how many times. They know every word. It's like I mean, they know all about all the different spiritual whatever, but none of them had any real interest in any of it. But they are all very spiritual people. All of them are very spiritual people. They all have their understanding, their connection with the universe, and their experience with their higher power. They're all just right there with it. So I don't think we messed it up. We also did that with Rocky Horror Picture Show. So it's not just Jesus Christ. We were big into Rocky Horror too. So okay. Who would like to read number 13? All right, I'll read it. Number 13. Miracles are like time travelers. Sometimes it seems like time only goes in one direction, from past to present to future, like reading a book. But miracles are like time travelers. They can go back in the story and make things better. It's like a magical way of starting over and making everything awesome. I love this. Uh, because he's introducing the idea of miracles in time, which is so important. And again, don't even think that your kids are not going to be able to understand this, because right now I could probably name five or more 10, 15, 20 movies that are very popular now or have been in the recent past that are all about time travel, about that we're living in all these universes that are all parallel, and that there are, I mean, it just has become prevalent in our culture to see the possibility that time is not something static and not something that moves from one thing to. How about that? Can you hear me over here? Uh,
Yeah, I can hear you again.
the time is actually happening all at once, and that everything everywhere all at once is what's happening now. So, get your kids used to the idea of it, and recognize that uh, this is a reality, and that we can, by uh, practicing forgiveness, actually undo the problems of the past, and reemerge in uh, a timeless now, uh, where everything is all right all the time. What a great gift for your kids to know. Nothing real can be threatened and nothing unreal exists. What a great gift for your kids to know. Anyway, I'm going to mute my mic and see if you could have heard me just now.
I heard you just now talking, and I'm gonna just share. I love Zoma was sharing the like reading A Course in Miracles, the miracle itself, and I never even thought to do that. But what a great idea, because I don't know them very well because I'm new in them. I've only read them a couple times personally, so this is really good learning for me, and I'm only teaching myself. So thank you, Zoma. I'm going to read Miracle Principle 13 from A Course in Miracles. Miracles are both beginnings and endings, and so they alter the temporal order. They are always affirmations of rebirth, which seem to go back, but really go forward. They undo the past in the present and thus release the future. Now, I just totally get this, because I just totally see things that have been corrected in my mind, and I actually feel like it has reset things in the past, which does bring it up to the present and thus releases the future. Wow, I love that. And look at how this, in A Course in Miracles children's edition, we're talking about this time travel, which we can understand that in our imaginations. Again, planting that seed that when you get older, when the child chooses to pick up A Course in Miracles, then they're already going to have this foundation set. And imagine when they're reading this, how the clarity will be. So I would say maybe or maybe not, but I just feel like it could be, which makes me think of when you open up the book, the actual book, the text, A Course in Miracles Children's Edition, in the front cover, that second page, there's a sentence here. It says, "To the children of our future, may you make decisions with clarity." Isn't that beautiful? It's just about giving a few more symbols early on that aren't the lie. I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for reading that, and thank you for all of that. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited because, yeah, how many of us are going to be able to actually impart some of this stuff to kids and actually bring about a shift in their thinking? And what would happen if kids came up with the idea that 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 everything is really okay, and there's not a reason to be afraid, and there's not a reason to feel like you have to attack or defend, because everything is love. And their whole, I mean, everything is happening to them for a reason. Everything is given to them as a gift. What a wonderful thing to be able to train your kids. Uh, let's see, hang on just a second. Love you, baby. My husband going to the doctor. So, but yeah, I mean, I would love to have access to children. I mean, I have my grandkids and I had my own kids. And honest to God, that's the reason that I had kids in the first place, was because I really wanted to bring some people into this world that were different than the people that I was used to being around. So, I wanted to bring people into this world that were awake and aware, that had minds that could think, and I wanted to bring children into this world that would become good people and make the world a better place. And honest to God, I did. My kids are all just phenomenal people with I mean, I'm not bragging here. I'm just saying they're, my son is the guy who goes around and gets uh, bags of like t-shirts and underwear and socks and toothbrushes and stuff for homeless people, drives around town and gives homeless people these packages with food and gift cards and clothes and coats, and he is just he'll go and pick up food, go and pick up meals and bring them and hand them out to homeless people, just because he's that person. He's driving down the road and he sees a dog that had been hit by a car, and he stops his car, he gets he picks the dog up in the back seat of the car and takes it to the vet. This is the kind of person that my son is. My kids are like that. So, I think that they came up with this idea of responsibility to the universe that they wouldn't have if they had been raised up by other people. I can't take responsibility for that, but I can try. I like to give myself credit for it. Anyway, but it is because I think because they know that no matter what happens, everything is okay. And part of their job is to make everybody else know everything is okay too. And there's nothing to fear. So I love
It's like
that.
they learn by example. You extended love, and now they extend love. That's really what that is.
Yeah,
The light keeps shining.
exactly. And I know their kids are growing up to be that way too. I see my grandkids. They're amazing people. So,
That's phenomenal.
there's that's why this is so important and it's so helpful, I think. Anybody else have anything on number 13?
Oh shoot. Mm-mm.